Hey guys, welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. So today's episode is going to be a long-awaited installment, if you will, of episode 39's challenge of the Shiritori challenge. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. Oh, sorry about that. I need to drink more water. It's really dry in my basement. Anyways, I thought it'd be fun to do another installment and kind of give you guys my progress of the Shiritori challenge. Now that I'm doing Herkyad 3.0 for real now, I feel like I still kind of want to keep this going. It would be awesome and fun to see how many books I can actually chain together. So without further ado, I'm just going to dive right into this to talk about the Chapter 1 and Beyond Shiritori challenge. So, the last that I updated you guys on, I was up to, I believe, 4 books. And I thought that would be fun to, leave off with that last episode. And like I said, it was episode 39, so if you have it, stop this one right now and go back to it. Because you're definitely going to need to check that one out. But anyways, so in that last episode, I left off with The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And I am determined to keep going with this chain. So the next book that I had chained with The Spell Shop is The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. And this book was 400 pages. I started this on the June 29th. And I know that this installment is coming late. I know we're almost through July at this point. But I did finish this book in one single day. And with the help of a wonderful audiobook. But I did follow along and read. So it was kind of like a combined read. I kind of was flip-flopping between the two. But yeah, let's talk about The Parable of the Sower. So I didn't make clips as I went and tracked my progress on how I felt about the book. But I know for a fact this is very much fresh in my brain still. These types of books are what make me very excited and happy that I read this book, because it's these types of stories that really resonate with you and make you look at the world kind of in a more different scheme of things. But basically, without spoiling anything, Parable of the Sower is one of those books that feels more relevant the longer you sit with it. And it's a dystopian story, but it isn't focused on giant action sequences or the flashy science fiction concepts. Instead, it really explores how ordinary people survive when society begins to break down, and what it means to build hope when everything around you seems hopeless. And it is very dark. I will say it is, some of the conditions that are presented in this book are very, very, unsettling and very, harsh. And I mean, what impressed me most was how grounded the world felt while reading this. And Octavia, she creates a future that's very unsettling, because it never feels impossible to to where we're at right now, and the characters that she has in this book are very layered, and they just feel very human based off of how they feel and how they're trying to get through situations. And the story really raises questions about the community, their leadership, resilience, and just change without ever feeling very preachy. I mean, there are very high amounts of elements of religious background in religious organizations and things like that. A lot of the sections start off with a quote or a verse, and it was very interesting on how that was kind of put together. But if you do enjoy character driven dystopian fiction that makes you think long after you've finished reading it, I can absolutely see why this book is talked about a lot. You know, it is really thought-provoking, and it really has settled with me even after the several weeks, because like usually when I read a book, like I'm like, yeah, this is really, really good, but I just found this one to really stick. And like even The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, 1984 by George Orwell, Animal Farm by George Orwell, We by Evgeny, I cannot pronounce the last name, sorry, I'll put it in the description if you guys need me to. Those dystopians really sat with me, and you know, that's just what I love about this. I just love a good classic, just honestly. I love a good classic, love a good dystopian. I've heard, you know, just watching like even the Hunger Games, through like the movies, you know, it's the exact same, you know, like I feel like that's a modern classic, when it comes to dystopians. So honestly though, definitely Chef's Kiss. I gave it around a 3.5 star rating, but I'm feeling really leaning now that it's been sitting with me more so to 4 to 4.5 star rating. So, but definitely recommend. I kind of went in really blind with this one, and there were some scenes that really, made me queasy and made me really not feel great. So just definitely check your trigger warnings, because there's definitely some stuff that happens in this book, and it's definitely not the level of A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, or I can't pronounce her last name, I'm sorry. But if you know A Little Life or My Absolute Darling or The Kite Runner, where, you know, I have voiced my humble opinion on each of those authors, those ones are not even close to, you know, it's rough in this one, but it's not as rough as what those are. So, but definitely go check it out. But I actually ended up, really enjoying this one. It's staying on my shelf, as hard of a read as it is. And actually I found out it's a series, the Earthseed series. So I'm going back and forth on if I want to read the Talents, the Parable of the Talents, which I believe is the second one. I want to look up to see like how many are in this series. I feel like there's only 2, if I remember correctly. It looks like, yeah, there are, at least according to hardcover, there is only 2. So it's Parable the Sower, which has an average rating on hardcover of 4.2 star rating. And then there's Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. It looks like that one is rated average 4.3 stars. So, and I don't physically own that one. I may eventually get to it, but I don't know. But for the sake of this challenge, I did continue the chain, and the chain has now led me to Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is a 428-page book. I finished this in, again, another single day, because I was like combined reading between audiobook and then, following along and such. But my friend Kristen has like constantly mentioned, you have to read this book. It is one of my all-time classic favorites. Definitely recommend it. You gotta check it out. So I picked this one up, and boy, was I in for a surprise with this one. I I went in blind with this one. Like, I usually go into like classics, like, okay, we're gonna like talk about someone's like mistress or husband, or I don't know, we're talking about the mister that owns the estate and things like that. But yeah, like this one was so twisty and I was not expecting what was happening in here. But Rebecca is one of those classics that completely did surprise me. Going in, I expected like this traditional romance because that's what my friend Kristen really likes to read. But it was definitely much more of a atmospheric psychological suspense novel, which I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute here. This is like really, really good. But the story is driven less by plot twists and more by this constant feeling that something just quite isn't right. And I was definitely on the edge of my seat when reading this. I mean, du Maurier's writing is gorgeous and absolutely fantastic. She has a way of making the setting feel almost like, you know, another character. And like really like the dialogue and every conversation that seems to carry, it carries a little bit more weight than it appears to on the surface. And it's the kind of book where the tension slowly builds page after page until you realize you become completely invested. And I honestly could not put this book down. It was just a page turner. And I was just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Like, I'm like terrified for this poor woman. And I'd recommend it to readers who enjoy classics. You know, the ones that really love like a strong atmosphere, unreliable feelings, and just stories that focus on the psychology and relationships of people rather than like, you know, action and you're going to places and we're going to see if there's like a happy ending, you know. And I just found that, yes, it was a slow burn, but I found that it was very, very well done. It was done in the best way possible. And normally I am absolutely against slow burn books because I'm like, can you get to the point, please? But it was good. Like I felt very immersed with the environment too, because like it really Daphne du Maurier took it home when it comes to like describing the estate and describing the property and just talking about just how it feels to be in that room. Like it was just, I've never like I definitely have never ever read anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. It was good. And I'm not a literature major of no means. I am just like a book nerd, like nerding out with books right now. And you know, I finally understand why people still talk about Rebecca. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. There were moments when, you know, I couldn't even tell you exactly why I felt uneasy, but I did. And it's just, it felt like it was like a lot of tension and a lot of like constant, you know, wondering what if this, you know. And I don't know. I am a fan of gothic classics now. I want to dive into more gothic classics. Like I have read Wuthering Heights, and even that was absolutely fantastic. I just like, I need more gothic classics, guys. I need them in my life. And I feel like, you know, there are so many potential, you know, gothic classics out there that I really have not even embarked in. And that's what I love about this book, is that it has like dove me into yet another subgenre that I feel like I need to just embrace and just like dive right into it. So yeah. So those were the two books that I have like recently finished. I am going back and forth on which book I'm going to chain with next. Technically, if I'm looking at my shelf, I could do Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. But here's the thing, guys, and I know I've been mentioning this a lot on this podcast. I am not really excited about starting yet another series. I really, really, really need to finish some series, like ASAP, because it's driving me nuts that I have all of these different series I'm in the middle of, and I am getting absolutely nowhere with any of them. Because I just keep adding more and more onto my list, and it's really frustrating. So I will say I did start Marissa Meyer's Renegade series, and I could technically do Arch Enemies instead by Marissa Meyer. I could also do A Touch of Darkness, but again, that starts another freaking series. So no, I cannot do A Touch of Darkness because like we're establishing this that I should not be doing more series. There are others. Let me take a look really quick and I'm going to grab them. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. So I'm looking at what's on my shelf. I have A Light Too Bright by Samuel L. Miller, which on the back it says Arthur Louis Pullman III's future is crumbling when he discovers a journal written by his famous grandfather, an iconic Salinger-esque author who died in Ohio a week after he disappeared from his family's California home. What happened in that week and how much his actions were influenced by his Alzheimer's remains a mystery. Following the journal's clues, Arthur embarks on a cross-country train ride to chase the shadow of his grandfather, but his journey is complicated by a girl with secrets of her own. Escalating run-ins with his grandfather's rabid fan base make it clear that Arthur's not the only one trying to piece together Arthur Louis Pullman's last week, and some people will stop at nothing to find the truth. I mean, it sounds really good, but I don't know if I'm really kind of in the mood for something like this at this point. I've never really read anything by Samuel L. Miller. I thought this was like a middle grade book, but I guess apparently not. But, I mean, it sounds very interesting. It looks like it was published back in 2018. And it looks like the way that, like, just flipping through this, it looks like the pages have, like, this random, like, it's really interesting because, like, some of the pages have just, like, a single letter on each of the sentences. So I feel like this could really be, like, a really quick read. This one's 465 pages, but it's really interesting because, like, there's just these random, like, quotes, and there's, like, poems, it looks like, and it looks like it is a fun time. Like, it is definitely something that I feel like I should probably be physically reading, not listening to on audiobook. If that's even an option. I'm gonna double check to see if it might be an option, because this could be something that I could just maybe follow along with, but I need to actually see if this is even possible. So yeah, it is. It's a 12-hour audiobook. It says for fans of literary classics such as The Catcher in the Rye and The Perks of Being a Wildflower comes a stirring new thought-provoking novel from debut author Sam Miller, about a lost, shrouded in mystery with twists and turns down every railway. Arthur Louis Pullman is on the verge of a breakdown. He's been stripped of his college scholarship, is losing his grip on reality, and has been sent away to live with his aunt and uncle. It's there that Arthur discovers a journal written by his grandfather, the first Arthur Louis Pullman, an iconic Salinger-esque author who went missing the last week of his life and died hundreds of miles away from their family home. What happened in that week and how much his actions were influenced by his Alzheimer's remain a mystery. But now Arthur has his grandfather's journal and a final sentence containing a train route and a destination. So Arthur embarks on a cross-country train ride to relive his grandfather's last week, guided only by the clues left behind in the dementia-fueled journal. As Arthur gets closer to uncovering a sad and terrible truth, his journey is complicated by a shaky alliance with a girl who has secrets of her own. and by escalating run-ins with a dangerous Pullman fan base. Arthur's not the only one chasing a legacy, and some feel there is no cost too much for the truth. A Little Too Bright theme written and performed by Samuel Miller and Dylan Bald. Now that I've read the HarperCollins description of this actually sounds really good. I think I am going to chain this one together. But I do know, I mean, like I said, I do have Ash Princess. I don't really want to start another series. And then, I do have The Adventures of Amani Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This actually fulfills a prompt, I believe a prompt in my Herkyad 3.0 pursuit. And honestly, this personal challenge that I'm doing for myself, this wouldn't count towards any prompts, on my Herkyad 3.0. At least I feel it shouldn't, because, I do have preset, mappings of what I'm going to, map this to. So, and I think I have this set for, I think I have this set for one of the prompts. Yeah, the remix, which is the, honestly, this is the one where you have the retellings and stuff like that, and the readaptations of the classics or another story. So this one was kind of a retelling of the Sinbad. And then I believe I also have Ash Princess as an option for two of the prompts. So Ash Princess. Yeah, so Ash Princess would only fulfill, at least right now, I have it slated for fulfilling the Shiritori titles. But I feel A Little Too Bright, I wonder if I do have that in here. I do not. So, I mean, either one sounds I could potentially fulfill something in my Herkyad 3.0 challenge as well. I think, honestly, though, I am going to go with A Light Too Bright by Samuel L. Miller, because I am a little intrigued. It kind of feels Frederick Backman did a story about an older gentleman, a man called Ove, and it kind of, I know it's not the same because this is more Alzheimer. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong book by Frederick Backman, because there is a book by Frederick Backman that dives into Alzheimer's and dementia, and I don't think I've read that one yet, actually, now that I think about it. But this one does sound really good. And at first I was I don't know if I'm in the mood for this, but this would be a nice change up to what I've been reading. I know I've been reading very heavy into Dungeon Crawler Carl. I've been reading The Gate of the Feral Gods. I'm so close to finishing that book, guys. It is so flipping good. I've been reading a lot of dystopian books too, and I'm I kind of need something that's a little different, that is gonna kind of get me to, change it up a little bit, because right now, I feel I'm reading the same books over and over again, but it's also because I'm trying to get, my physical TBR down, so... but yeah, so that's the next one I'm going to be chaining up. I will give you guys my full thoughts, because I think, honestly, with this episode, I'm just going to keep going until I hit 4 more books. The plan with this chain, though, is I'm looking at what I can chain this with. So if I go with a Light Too Bright, I need to find a title that starts with a T, but then I also need to make sure that the title that starts with a T, I can chain that one together. So I could do, let's see. If I do a light too bright, I could chain that with the synapse sequence, but that ends with E. I could do, let's see here. I could do, let's see here. I'm looking through my physical TBR. I had to switch it to alphabetical order because I'm struggling. Yeah, so if I do this, I could chain this with the adventures of Amani and Serafi, but that one starts with an I, and I don't have too many unread books that start with I. Oof. Yeah, this one's gonna be a tough one because I only have Ink Spell, Ink Death, Ink Heart, which is another series. Oh, I do have Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, but then I'm starting with an N. Ooh. Yeah. That might not be a fun time because I only have Nightbane, which is the second in the Lightlark series by Alex Astor. I haven't read Lightlark yet, so I won't be able to do that. I do have Night Flights by Philip Reeve. That is, I think, the short story collections, if I remember correctly. Let me double check that really quick because I don't want to read it out of order either. Yeah, go deeper into the world of Mortal Engines with these brand new short stories set in the Mortal Engine world just in time for the release of the epic film produced by Peter Jackson. Yeah, these are some old books. Like, this was published back in 2018, so that's why the description sounds the way it does. But return to the world of Mortal Engines in this new book of short stories about the rebellious young aviatrix Anna Fang, illustrated by Ian McQuay, a key character in the Mortal Engines books and upcoming film produced by Peter Jackson. This is your chance to learn more about Anna's more thrilling past. Night Flights includes Traction City, Philip Reeve's 2011 World Book Day book, in a dangerous future world where gigantic motorized cities attack and devour each other. London hunts where no other predator dares, but Anna Fang, pilot, adventurer, spy, isn't afraid. The three stories show gripping, moving, exciting moments in Anna Fang's life. Her childhood as a slave abroad, the moving city, Archangel, a showdown against a robotic stalker that is terrifyingly out of control, and her free life as an intelligence agent for the Anti-Traction League. That sounds so good. Oh my gosh. But I have not read the Mortal Engine series. I really hope I'm not spoiling anything for myself, but that sounds so good. Oh man, I really want to read the Mortal Engine series now. But I haven't started it, and I have all these other series. Damn it. But then I'm kind of going back and forth. I really want to read A Light Too Bright, but I really should make traction with the Renegade series, like I mentioned at the beginning of this. I'm so torn, guys. I feel like I kind of need to do a spinner wheel, because this is just too hard. Oh, man. I got to do a spinner wheel. No. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a random number generator. So I have A Light Too Bright, Ash Princess, and then I have Arch, and no, we're just going to do 2. So I'm going to do min 1, max 2. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And let's see. Let's see what it does. Wait a minute. Now it switched to a flip a coin. Okay, regardless, whatever. Okay, so heads will be arch enemies. The tails will be a light too bright. Let's flip this thing. Heads. Okay, so I am reading Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. Okay. All right. Yep. No, the coin has spoken. So we're gonna go with that. Okay, so Arch Enemies, this is the continuation in the Renegades trilogy, and in this fiercely awaited second installment, time is running out. Together they can save the world, but they each other's worst nightmare. Oh, I see. Okay. Now, Nova's double life is about to get a lot more complicated, as Insomnia, she is a full-fledged member of the Renegades, a syndicate of powerful and beloved superheroes. She works with Adrian's patrol unit to protect the weak and maintain order in Gatlin City. As Nightmare, she is an anarchist, a group of villains who are determined to destroy the Renegades. Nova wants vengeance against the so-called heroes who once failed her when she needed them the most. But as Nova, her feelings for Adrian are deepening, despite the fact that he is the son of her sworn enemies. And unbeknownst to Nova, he has some dangerous secrets of his own. In this second installment of the Renegades trilogy, Nova, Adrian, and the rest of their crew, Ruby, Oscar, and Dana, are faced with escalating crime in Gatlin City, while covert weapons and conflicting missions have Nova and Adrian questioning not only their beliefs about justice, but also the feelings they have for each other. The line between good and evil has been blurred, but what's clear to them both is that too much power could mean the end of their city and the world as they know it. I am so excited for all these Marvel movies that are coming out soon, and I am craving a good superhero story. So I'm glad that the coin has spoken. I know for a fact that I do have plans to eventually get to A Light Too Bright by Samuel L. Miller. Actually, I feel like I could really slate this out for my September TBR. So I will put this higher on my stack just so that I have it and it's ready to go. But I do feel that I need to kind of put a backseat pedal on some starting of a series until I can really get traction with the ones that I have already started. So yeah, I will let you guys know in the upcoming clip on how I feel about Arch Enemies. I don't know if I'm going to give you clips along the way, because I know the first two books that I mentioned in this episode, I very much did not provide you guys clips. So yeah, I will just let you guys know my thoughts. I'll give you guys kind of a brief non-spoiler summary on how I felt about it, and just keep going down the line, So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next clip. Okay, guys, so Arch Enemies. Whoa, buddy. Okay. I cannot talk today. So Arch Enemies took me about a day to get through. I kind of knew going in that I was not going to be able to get you guys updates along the way, because everything's just been super crazy busy. But yeah, Arch Enemies takes everything I personally enjoyed about Renegades and raises the stakes. It was crazy. The world feels so much bigger, and the morally gray areas become even more interesting to me. And you're constantly questioning who is really in the right. Like, it's kind of like this weird push-pull. And, I know this is considered YA, but I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is really good. But yeah, the morally gray areas, like, definitely become even more interesting. And just this whole, like, kind of push-pull, like I said, you know, you kind of start to really question, like, who is in the right, because, like, I can understand from both perspectives. Marissa Meyer really does an excellent job of showing that hero and villain aren't always, like, this black and white. And that's what I really, really love about this series so far, is that you kind of see, like, a different side and a different perspective to these so-called villains and then these so-called heroes. And, you know, what I really loved most was how character driven this installment is. Like, you really get a deeper dive into the characters. And while there are plenty of exciting action scenes and creative superpowers on display, the real heart of the story comes from the relationships, the conflicting loyalties, and the choices that these characters have to make in this. And I just really have found myself invested, not just in what was going to happen, but in how everyone would navigate the consequences of their decisions. And that, to me, was like the creme de la creme of this. I mean, if you enjoyed, like, Renegades, Arch Enemies definitely delivers exactly what you'd hope for in a sequel. And it really does depend on expanding the world. It deepens the characters. It keeps the tension high. I could not stop listening to this audiobook and then going to the book. Like, I just kept going back and forth, back and forth. It definitely has that just one more chapter feel, and, like, you just want to keep going. I immediately wanted to dive into the third one, but obviously for the sake of this specific challenge, I have to look at, you know, titles that start with an S. But I also realized, too, that the third installment in this series, this trilogy, the finale, if you will, is Supernova. So I feel like it's only fate that this happened. Because, you know, originally I was like, oh, I'm going to pick up Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian, because that's originally what I had planned. But honestly, this worked out so good, because Arch Enemies has an S at the end. Then Supernova has an A at the end. So I could totally now, if I pick up Supernova, I can pick up Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian and keep going with this chain. So I am excited, because I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Like, I really, really want to finish the series. Like, I felt like Arch Enemies left me on a cliffhanger, and I got to find out what happens. So it's that good. I gave this a solid 5-star rating. I absolutely love this from start to finish. It was fantastic. I'm excited for this third book. And honestly, I'm going to dive right into it so that I can give you guys an update and give you guys my thoughts, because I feel like between Parabol the Sower, Rebecca, Arch Enemies, and now Supernova, that'll give you guys the 4 I feel that this episode should highlight. And what better reason to tell you that this chain is going to continuously keep going, because with me seeing Supernova and then mentioning Ash Princess, I know for a fact I have a lot of titles on my bookshelf that have an S at the start of the title. So yay for continuing this challenge. I'm excited. So I will let you guys know in the next clip my thoughts on Supernova. Maybe give you some updates as I read it. Who knows? I doubt it, but, you know, we're just gonna go with it with this episode. But, yeah, so excited. Yes. Okay, guys. Oh my god. Another full day of reading, and I got through Supernova. I'm just so, I'm so excited I can finally chip off another series off of my shelf. Oh my gosh. Okay, so where do I even begin with Supernova? Okay, Supernova. Oh my god. Okay, Yeah. Supernova is exactly the kind of conclusion I was hoping for in this trilogy. Seriously. Marissa Meyer really brings it all together. Like all of the different threads, every weaving that happens within Renegades and Arch Enemies, and delivers that action-packed like finale that I was totally expecting with this. Every emotional moment and meaningful character growth just like gets like, I feel so satisfied with this ending. Oh my gosh, chef's kiss to this entire freaking trilogy. It's been a while since I've read a good YA like series or a YA book. Like I've always like felt like me and YA have been like not a great thing lately. And this one just gave me a refreshing like essence, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know, I don't know. This series conclusion was great. This was fantastic. I mean, I will say that rather than relying solely on big superhero battles, the story does continue to explore the blurred lines between the heroes and villains, asking whether people are defined by their choices, their intentions, or the label society kind of gives them. And that's what I really, really, really loved most, is that, you know, though they're defined by that title, you know, it really was like throughout this entire series, it was like a lot of back and forth with that. But what I appreciated most was that the characters remained the heart of the story. It was really well done. Every major decision felt earned, the relationships continued to evolve, and the stakes felt genuinely high because I had become so invested in everyone involved. Like there was not a single character that I wasn't like, you know, I don't give a crap about this person. You know, it was one of those books where I kept telling myself just one more chapter and just keep freaking going, because I had to know how everything would come together. Like I just could not put this down. So, I mean, if you've been enjoying, like any sort of like superhero story, I know V. Schwab has her series with villains, which I am definitely wanting to get to as well. I think, you know, Supernova, Renegades, and Arch Enemies, this entire trilogy just delivers like that, you know, satisfaction. It is fast paced. It was very easy to read. It was very smooth, but you know, with the twists with the characters and the moral complexity, and just there was just so much emotional weight to making everything stick. That was just perfect. Like 5 stars. If I could give it like 10 stars, I'd like that. See, that finale alone was worth every single page in the lack of sleep that I have gotten. So oh my gosh, so good. And I will note that this book was pretty beefy. I don't think I even mentioned what the length was for Supernova, or not Supernova, but Arch Enemies. Crap, I forgot to give you guys an update on that. So Supernova was 549 pages. This was published back in 2014 according to hardcover, and the average rating for this one was 4.3 stars. It looks like 84 people gave it a 5-star rating. Arch Enemies, on the other hand, has an average rating of 4.1 stars. This was 497 pages, roughly, and 71 people gave it a 5-star rating. I have not updated my hardcover app. So if you are listening to this episode and you see that things are not updated yet, I have not gotten a chance to update my hardcover app. So just kind of go in with a grain of salt. So I'm very terrible when it comes to trying to update my my hardcover app. Like, I apologize if you guys are kind of following along with me on hardcover. I'm very behind on my tracking because I have my Hercad 3.0 spreadsheet. I have my own personal spreadsheet that I track. And then I also have like a notebook. And it's probably overkill, but sometimes I can't get to the computer, which is why I go to my notebook. But then I go to my notebook to double check my spreadsheets. And it's probably an overkill of a process, but you know, it works. But that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry that the installment of this challenge has been severely delayed, but honestly, I think this still worked out great. And I ended up finishing 4 more books in the process, so I can't complain. But yeah, I probably will do another installment since I can continue to do this chain. So I will catch you guys in the next episode, but I hope you have a wonderful day and take care, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.